When you have a baby, you wonder about lots of things, don't you? Like, what's my kid gonna look like? Will she be pretty like her mom, or will she look like me, if you know what I mean? Is he gonna behave well, or possibly misbehave terribly? Is she gonna get the best or worst parts of our personalities? You begin to think about these things, don't you? But sometimes you wonder about deeper and yes, even crazier things. Like, try this one on for size. And don't worry, you're not alone in this. Have you ever wondered about something as simple as, what have I gotten myself into? Like, seriously, like how did this happen? I mean, you know how it happened. You're a parent, but now you have a kid, right? Or you have a second kid, or you can't seem to stop having kids, like Teresa and I with 4 kids. Which means your eyes are bloodshot from sleepless nights. Your house is cluttered with bottles and diapers and plastic toys. You wear spit up on your shoulder like an accessory. The perfect picture of your family may not be turning out like you had in mind, and you're wondering, what have I gotten myself into? Well, what you've gotten yourself into is a relationship with a human being. Granted, right now it's a very small human being, but it's a relationship nonetheless. And this relationship is complicated. There's a lot of pressure to get it right. And you've probably gotten some pretty crazy advice already. But let me just go ahead and clear something up. There's no perfect way to parent. And not only that, you're probably going to make mistakes as a parent, and that's okay. Because here's the deal. Your relationship with your child is more important than getting everything right. All the stuff that comes with having a baby, all the schedules, all the devices, the theories, they literally pale in comparison to the relationship that you build over time with this human being. That's why parenting is so wonderful. Here's something else you might wonder. Have I done anything this week that really matters? Instead of measuring your week in how many meetings or how many completed home projects or how many connections you've made, you've probably started measuring your weeks in how many hours you actually slept, how many loads of laundry you folded, or maybe even how many diapers you changed. Especially in those early months, you don't exactly get a lot of compliments or affirmation from your kids. Your child isn't going to look at you and say, "Great job, Mom and Dad, for keeping me alive this week." You don't get paid a bonus for getting extra loads of laundry done. But when you wonder, does what I'm doing really matter? Just remember, being present matters. Being present with your child week after week is the most important thing you can do at this stage. Not randomly present, but consistently present. Now, you may not teach your child some revolutionary lesson or see them develop a new talent each week. You, in fact, may not even get to shower every day this week. But the one thing you can definitely do is be present. Here's something to think about. Every parent has approximately 936 weeks to spend with their child from birth to high school graduation. Now imagine those 936 weeks as marbles in a jar, and with each week that goes by, you take a marble out. Do the math. Based upon your baby's age, how many marbles do you have left in your jar? Can you believe you're already lost some marbles? This example illustrates when you see how much time you have left, you tend to do more with the time you have now. Just be there with your child, because sometimes being dependable is more important than doing something remarkable. If you've simply been there for your child this week, you've accomplished something far greater than you could possibly ever measure. So, since parenting is so wonderful, here's another thing you might wonder. What does my child need most? That one actually has a simple answer. It's universal for every child. It's something that any parent can give better than anyone else. The thing a child needs most is love. From you. That's it. It's simple and complex all at the same time, isn't it? With each marble or week that slips by, there are opportunities to demonstrate the one thing every kid needs. How we love our kids while their kids will impact them literally for the rest of their lives. So you get a chance every day, every week, to prove to your child over time that you love them. By the words you say, by the people that you invite into their lives, the stories you tell them, and even the games that you play with them. Love is the most important thing you can give any child. Now, one reason that parenting is so wonderful is that now you are the most strategically positioned person in the world to show your son or your daughter what it's like to be loved unconditionally. Well, here's something else you may be wondering. Will my life ever be the same again? Well, let me explain the answer in a way to hopefully encourage you. The answer is simply no, it won't. Not even close. Your life will never be the same again. Because your kid changes by the minute, don't they? 1 minute, they're smiling, they're happy. The next minute, they're literally melting down in the most inopportune times and places. 1 minute you find yourself saying, honey, we'll never have another kid ever. The next minute you might find yourself saying, well, maybe just one more, right? Their bodies grow, their personalities develop, and their minds expand. And it makes for an unpredictable adventure. But more than that, having kids changes you, doesn't it? And yes, hopefully it changes you for the better. Maybe that's why it's so hard. Because have you ever noticed that most of us aren't changed for the better by going through things that are easy? Having kids cultivates and nurtures something in your heart that's difficult to explain. And the only way to experience is to actually be a parent and have a child, right? You'll cry more, you'll laugh more, you'll worry more. And at some point, you'll probably do all three at the same time. So no, your life will never be the same. But really, would you want it to be? Of course not, because parenting is wonderful. Well, there's one more thing you may wonder from time to time. You may catch yourself thinking about something you've never thought about before until you had a kid. Sometimes you'll look into the face of your child and you'll wonder, who will my kid become? Will they get my ears? Will they laugh a lot? Will they go to college? What will their friends be like? Will they like me when they're 18? Well, guess what? Who your child will become is still somewhat a mystery. It's a question quite possibly too big for you to answer. Actually, it's too big for you to even try to answer right now. But that doesn't mean you can't influence the kind of person your child becomes. It also doesn't mean you can't start praying for your child's faith and praying for their character. Can I encourage you to make a list of characteristics that you hope your child will develop? Just go ahead and make a list. And whatever's on your list, whatever qualities you're praying for your child to develop, just remember you have the potential to be their best teacher. That's right. The best person to influence your child's future is you. By the time they're born, to the time they start driving, to the time they graduate from high school, to the time they even get married, it's you. The single most important influence in their life is you. And as that influencer, it's important to stay focused on what really matters. The Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength in Deuteronomy 6:5. A wise and trusted leader, Moses, he once told a group of parents and aunts and uncles and singles and grandparents that the most important thing to pass on to every child is a relationship with God. He wanted them to show their kids how to love God with all their hearts. And it's the same for us, isn't it? We need to show our children how to love God with all their hearts. Now, I get it. Maybe you feel anxious because you're not sure what that would even look like. I get it. But can I encourage you? It may not be as hard as you might think. Moses advised parents to simply make faith a part of their everyday life. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to incorporate your faith into what you're already doing each week. Before bedtime, during bath time, when you're driving in the car, or even when you're coloring together at the kitchen table. Be intentional about discussing your faith with your child. Because yes, you have the most influence over who your child will become. But don't get overwhelmed. When Moses explained the strategy, he challenged the entire community of faith to influence the next generation. You see, what he was suggesting is that you as a parent don't have to do this alone. That's why the church can and should play a role in your children's spiritual formation. We want to partner with you, and that's why we're here to link arms with you in raising your kids to have a faith of their own. So we promise to continue to create consistent and relevant environments for your child so they can grow in their relationship with God, because together we have 936 weeks to give your child the foundation that they'll build on for the rest of their lives. We want to partner with you to help your child become someone who loves God, someone who loves others, and someone who really lives. So let's start right now. Prioritize your relationship with your kids. Be present and dependable. Love them regardless, and help them shape their faith.